We've been in a series called Rhythm, and what we're talking about is experiencing God's will in a stressful and chaotic world. In a stressful and chaotic world. And I think we've established and pretty much said every week this world, this society that we live in, is a melting pot for chaos. It is a boiling pot for stress. It is full of stress, full of things that can cause you stress, and stress is almost like it's like a catchphrase these days. Oh, I'm stressed out. My kid said it the other day. I'm like, why did you act that way? I'm stressed out. I'm like, you have nothing to be stressed out about. You got no bills. You don't even have to barely feed yourself. We feed you. You don't have to mow the grass yet. I'm like, what do you have to be stressed out? You don't have a job. You got homework. That's it. That's the only thing you're allowed to be stressed out about is your house aufgabe, your homework. That's it. That's all you have. But the reality is stress doesn't just come with age. Stress is not just something that has to do with responsibilities. Stress happens inside, and last week we talked about that internal storm, didn't we? And the storm that happens on the inside, and how when we allow Jesus and when we step into the rhythm and the cadence and the pace and his will, that he invites us into, he will calm the internal storms inside of us. Because everyone knows here that you have these internal storms that come. And today I want to talk about something maybe a little bit different direction. And I want to give you some imagery, and I want to give you a picture today. But to start, we're going to read Matthew chapter 11. Is everybody ready? All right, if you brought your real Bibles, you can turn to page, I'm just kidding, it's not on the same page, but Matthew chapter 11. It is the first of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, all from different angles, different stories, telling the same story about Jesus. And in Matthew, we see this life of Jesus. In fact, I had a great friend of mine who had recently, he was from a friend of mine from high school, and it was really encouraging. He's like, man, I'm reading through the Bible in a year, and he had just started going to church, and I was like, man, that's awesome. That I love that. And I got into ministry, and some of my friends didn't go to church and things like that, and I've just kept up a relationship with them. And he said, man, I'm in Numbers, or and he's like, I'm really struggling here to read this thing. And he said, man, should I just push through, And I told him, I don't know what advice you would tell him. I'm not saying this is the best advice. I said, skip it. I said, go. I said, go to the New Testament. I said, everything in the New Testament, or in the Old Testament anyway, should be read in the light of the New Testament. So go to the New Testament, read the Gospels, learn about Jesus, because then when you go back to the Old Testament, and then you can see Jesus in the pages of the Old Testament, and it gets exciting when you can do that. And he's like, thanks for the advice. I think he was just wanting permission from somebody who he thought was spiritual. He messaged me. I'm like, skip it, man. I don't know if he was waiting for hey, just push through, man, and God will be faithful. No, skip that and go right to the New Testament. I said go right to Matthew, start there, learn about Jesus, and then you can read the Old Testament. And if you're on a Bible reading plan, you're waiting for somebody to tell you to move along. I'm not telling you that. That's not my advice to you. That was my advice to my friend. But we're going to start Matthew today, Matthew chapter 11. I just want to read a few verses. We'll pray, and then we'll dive into the subject today. It says this, come to me. It's an invitation, isn't it? This is an invitation into Jesus' rhythm, into his will. Come to me, all you who are weary and burden. I wonder if anybody here has a burden. I wonder if any of you have felt weary. I wonder if any of you have felt, that's a lot. If you've ever felt like recently, especially, man, life, that's heavy. It just seems like, have you ever heard the expression, when it rains, it pours? And maybe recently you've gone through a time where it just feels like one thing stacked on another, this burden stacked on top of another burden. And it was just like a swarm of chaos and a swarm of stress. He says, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Sounds nice. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Let's pray. Father, today we thank you. Thank you for the word, that it is not returned to you void, that accomplishes everything that you sent it to do. God, let us not just experience the text, but let us experience the living and active word that is your scripture. God, that was God-breathed, that was Holy Spirit inspired and penned by faithful people. As your word says in Hebrews, it is living and active. It's the only book we would ever pick up within its pages has living, breathing words. It's where we go and we can encounter you, Jesus. We can learn who you are in character. We can experience you in a real and intimate way. And so, Jesus, my prayer is that we come to your word that way this morning and we experience you. That religion, maybe our former experiences, whether in church, whether with Christianity, is put behind us. Even a new slate, a new paradigm, a new perspective today of who you are. And I thank you for that. In Jesus' name, amen. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. I will give you rest. Life's difficult, isn't it? And I think whatever stage of life you are at, Jesus is talking to you. To even my kid who says, man, I'm stressed out. And I'm thinking, what do you have to be stressed out? Jesus says to him, come to me. Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened. He says to you, maybe you've figured out how to get your life together, how to manage stress. He says to you, even your burdens, even your stress, come to me, all you who are weary, all of you who are burdened. On this, life feels like this sometimes, just a mental picture for you. Maybe you can identify. On this so-called fishing trip we were just on, first of all, I was teased about every, few hours, every time something happened, they said, this is going to land in your sermon, isn't it? And I said, probably, at some point. This isn't one of those, but this is a mental picture of the way life can be sometimes, isn't it? We're out there. As soon as the night comes, we're out there at the fishing dock. The sun goes right behind the trees. And there was trillions, not billions, not millions, trillions of mosquitoes, clouds. And it's not one just comes, you can't get away from them. And if you've never seen grown men run and freak out from bugs like this before, we're like, if somebody saw us from afar, they thought we would be doing some kind of dance, interpretive dance. It was like when it rains, it pours. When they come in, and they came in so fast. This is the way life feels like. So that it feels like as soon as you can take care of this one, there's millions more. As soon as you can solve this problem in your life, there's millions more. There's burdens, there's weariness, there's things, and you just get so tired of trying to do it yourself, right? You get so tired of doing this thing on your own. Luckily, somebody brought a mosquito net that we could come into, and we can actually have peace within the refuge of the mosquito net. Don't even get me started on preaching about refuge. But we found peace in that place where our burdens were not attacking us from every angle. And I think in some ways this is what Jesus is expressing, is life is hard. You're not exempt from burdens. You're not exempt from weariness, but he's saying, come to me. It's an invitation to come to me, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am gentle. Listen to this for a moment. I am gentle and humble in heart. I don't think this is necessarily a prophetic statement. This is just an informed statement about the state of Christianity and about Christians, majority of Christians, even including myself, that have come in contact in the narrative that we grew up with, can often be that when we can't approach God, we can't approach Jesus because he's going to pick out all the things that we're doing wrong. He's going to make sure that he takes all the stuff away from us. He's going to make sure he's going to correct us and bring that correction to us. And if we approach him, it's like coming to a parent. Maybe it's because this is the way you were attached to your parent even, and you come to him and you think, oh man, what have I done wrong now? And you're going through your head, and maybe you stay away from him because you have shame. But he's saying, no, I'm gentle. This is a whole new paradigm to look at Jesus. He says, come to me. I'm gentle and humble. If anyone has the opportunity to not be humble, it's Jesus. But he says, yet I'm humble. I'm gentle. I'm gentle with you. I care for your soul, and you will find rest. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. I want to speak to you today on this idea of, for lack of better sermon title, yoked. Yoked. Why not? Maybe you'll remember it. I don't know. Yoked. I remember it must have been last year at our kids' kindergartens. They have like a summer fest, and they always want the parents to participate and do this and like create different stations and stuff. And there was one game that was a 3-legged race. Have you ever done a 3-legged race before, where you and your partner get your inner legs tied together and you have to race? So Megan and I, we're like, yeah, we're a good team. We can do this. And we're like kind of both competitive. She's outwardly competitive. I'm inwardly competitive. And so sometimes that's why we don't play many card games at our house. But it was like, hey, I'm looking around like all these parents are having fun and stuff. And internally I'm going, oh, you are going down. Like all these parents that were about to race, and I'm looking at them, I'm sizing them up. I'm like, man, you are about to go down. I'm about to, and Megan and I are like talking strategy and stuff like that. And as soon as we got going, we were humbled so quickly. We realized that our legs did not work the way that they wanted to. And we were, just so you know, we were ahead. I think if I remember the story could have gone differently than actually I remember it, but we were ahead. I was feeling it. Oh, we're crushing it. We caught up. And then almost towards the finish line, something went off on our rhythm. Something went off on our cadence. Something went off on our 1, 2, 3. Something happened, and then we couldn't. It's as if in the chaos and the pressure coming, in the stress, we couldn't get it back. We couldn't get the rhythm back, and we lost horribly. So then we just sat on the ground and laughed. Because we thought, oh man. And there's pictures out there somewhere from the kindergarten to prove this. Chaos. But this is a picture of what yoked is. What does Jesus mean by yoked? He's not talking about sunny side up, scrambled. He's not talking about your morning breakfast eggs today. He's not talking about that yoke. He's actually referencing a mechanism that was used in farming and that was used amongst cattle, oxen to be specific, in that day. And so this would have given a good picture to the society at the time of exactly what he was talking about. He was saying, my yoke is easy. My burden is light. What was he talking about? A yoke. Well, a yoke was a device Mahindra, can you come here for a second? I didn't tell you. I would have warned you ahead of time. Here you go. Come on. Bring your bag. Will you bring your bag? Do you have your bag? Sandeep's bag? Bring both of those bags. Zip them up. Make sure nothing crazy falls out. We're going to have fun today. It's going to be awesome. These are pool noodles, not a yoke. This is a Daniel contraption. Okay, you can just set those down for a minute. We're going to need them. This is a picture of what a yoke. It would have been made of wood, maybe some steel that was crafted, and it would have gone around an oxen's neck like this. And then it would have gone around a second oxen's neck like this, and it allowed them to pull whatever they were pulling, whether it was a plow, whether it was a heavy load, whatever burden they were pulling, it allowed them to pull it together. And actually, an oxen, two oxen together can pull 3 times as much as one oxen. 3 times, not 2 times, but 3 times as much as an oxen. So they would yoke them. Everybody say yoked. They would yoke them together so that they could pull the load together, so that they could carry more together. You understand? This is a picture of a yoke. Sit down just for a minute, Mahindra. I don't want you to have to stay up here the whole time. Leave these bags. I won't steal them, okay? This was a picture of a yoke. And Jesus was saying, take my yoke upon you, for my yoke is easy, my burden is light. Come to me. Come to me. In other words, there's different yokes we can take upon us. There's worldly yokes. There's our own agenda. We take these yokes upon us. And actually, oftentimes within that context as well, the teaching of a rabbi would be called a yoke, whatever their teaching was. So Jesus was saying, take my teaching upon you. Not this worldly teaching, not what society says to do. Let's say it this way, not how society tells you to worry about stress, not how society tells you to figure out your chaotic burdens and your stressful things, but how I teach you. My teaching is light. My teaching is not heavy. It's not religious. It's relational. Take my yoke upon you. You might be feeling tired. You might be feeling weary. And what he's doing is, Jesus is saying, I'm inviting you into my yoke. I'm inviting you into my rhythm. I'm inviting you into my rest. The common practice, watch this, the common practice of that day would be to yoke an older oxen with a younger, less experienced oxen as a way to train them up. And that older oxen would then carry the majority of the burden, would carry the majority of the load. And so Jesus, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, cattle on 1,000 hills. He's got every resource at his disposal. He's the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end. He walks with you through the valley of the shadow of death. He knows every hair on your head. The older, experienced oxen is saying, come, take my yoke upon you. It's easy. You don't have to pull the burdens. I will pull the burdens. You don't have to carry it. I'm going to carry it. You're not exempt from burden. You're not exempt from these things, but I'm carrying it on my back. I'm carrying the load on my back. Mahindra, come one more time. Let's just illustrate this. You have to sit closer. So, you really do have a heavy burden here. I'm glad we used your bag as an illustration, yeah. But put this one on your front because you got some other stresses in life that you have to carry around with you. You've got some other things that are tying you down, other concerns, right? Other things about life and just and stress. Whether there's some bills back here, There's my job performance, job reviews probably coming up. Maybe it just happened. You're wondering, how's that going to go? Because I would really like a raise because I really want my bank account to look better and I want to be able to have a little bit more freedom, and that's stressful. And then I've got these relational baggage and things like that. I've got these other stresses. My family, this or that. I've got all these stresses. You don't have kids, but if you did have kids, then there would be some kid burdens in here. They'd be like, oh man, I got to carry that. I got to worry about their health. I got to keep them alive. That's a big deal. Just so you know, parents, number one advice: keep them alive. Not like you do your plants at home. It's a burden. It's a burden. You you can't sleep in, right? Because your kids will wake you up and then and they want breakfast. It's a burden. It's like all this stress. It's the mosquitoes. Mahindra was there with me with the mosquitoes, and we're still like this, and there's these burdens that we can carry in life. And many of you probably came in with your own burdens. Many of you are thinking right now, you could probably name them. What is it that you're stressed about? What is it that you're worried about? What is it that's making you weary? What is it that you're carrying that the more you try to carry it yourself, the tireder you get, the more worn out you get? And Jesus is saying, no, take my yoke upon me. Upon you. He's inviting you into his life. He's inviting you into his yoke, and he's saying, come on, Mahindra, take my yoke. Take my yoke. You don't have to carry them. We're going to do this together. I'm with you, but I'm the older oxen. I'm carrying the load together. And Mahindra's like, whoo, I'm learning. Because discipleship and following Jesus is about experiencing and becoming more like him. And Jesus is saying, in order to do that, I'm going to allow you to rest. You're still with me. This isn't about watching Jesus do what Jesus does. This is about walking with him. This is about walking with him and allowing Jesus to carry the burden, allowing Jesus to carry the yoke, allowing him to pull so that you can walk with Jesus and be in rest. Are you with me? Okay, thank you, Mahindra. He says, come to me. It is an eternal invitation for Jesus to say, I want to carry your burdens. You don't have to do it on your own. You don't have to do it on your own. And when you engage with my yoke, he's saying, there's rest here. There's rest here. There's gentleness. He's gentle and has a humble heart. 3 things that this is going to require you and me to do if we're going to take his yoke, if we're going to be yoked to him. Number 1 is humility. Humility. And what humility in this situation is you saying, I need help. I can't do this alone. And it doesn't take too much life to happen to realize that you can't carry it alone. Eventually, you will come to a place, some people call it rock bottom, where you realize you can't do it alone. You need help. You need some source outside of yourself. You can't carry this alone. You can't carry this alone. You need help. It takes humility to say, no, I need help in my finances. It takes humility to say, I need help in my relationship. It takes humility to say, I need help with parenting. It takes humility to say, this job thing is out of my hands. My CV is not the biggest factor here. I need help. I need help. Come on, turn to your neighbor, tell them, I need help. So that they know that you're not perfect. Listen, you don't just need in life as the burdens come. You don't just need, more strength. If I just had more strength, if I could just become more disciplined, if I would just be able to wake up 30 minutes earlier, then I would have more time. If I maybe just don't sleep at all, and I have enough coffee, then I could probably do every burden. I could probably take care of this on my own. I could spin every plate that I've been given, that I'm trying to steward, God. I'm trying to steward all this that you've given me. And if I just have better character, maybe if I was smarter, maybe if I was a little bit more talented, if I was that other person that I saw on Instagram, then I could do it. I could be a better parent. I saw the way they parented on Instagram because a 30-second clip tells me a lot about how somebody parents and how they wanted me to perceive their parenting. So I know all about their but if I could just do that better, then maybe I could carry all the burdens. No. God is saying, inviting you into his, but first it's going to allow you to say, you need to say, I'm going to be humble and say, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't spin the plates on my own. I'm not a superhero. I'm not a superhero. There's a line to a song that goes, even Superman is just a man sometimes. I'm not a superhero. I need help. I need help. That's why Paul, the apostle Paul, the church planter, the one who wrote 2/3 of the New Testament, all these letters to Timothy, to Ephesus, to all these churches that he oversaw. He was like the spiritual CEO of the churches. And this guy that carried so much weight. I look at people on social media and all the stuff they've accomplished. There's this one person, how to buy a business, how to grow a business, that she owns like 10 businesses. I'm like, man, if I could just have that kind of talent. If you could look at Paul and be like, wow, look at all he's accomplished. And he says in 2 Corinthians, if I must boast, I will boast about the things that show my weakness. If I'm going to boast about anything, I'm going to boast about my weakness because I need help. I need help. I can't do it alone. And the second thing that it requires, humility and surrender. Humility and surrender. Surrender. Mahendra, come one more time. Sandeep, can you come as well? I got your bag up here. I think it's your bag. I don't know. Sorry, I also didn't tell you. I'm going to do better, I promise. So let's just say, here, you switch sides with me. I felt like this was the Jesus side. You're going to be Jesus because it's red, or it's kind of pink. I don't know, but it's green. It worked in my head. If I'm over here going, and Jesus is saying, take my yoke upon you. It's easy, it's light. And I'm like, okay, I love that because I want to find rest. I want to find rest for my soul. I want to find rest. But at the same time, hold my hand there, Sandeep. At the same time, I'm going, yeah. But I don't want to let go of these things. I'm also trying to be, come close to me. I'm also trying to be, I'm trying to be yoked in other relationships. I'm trying to find my strength in Sandeep because I'm like, I really need his help. Maybe he's got the right knowledge. I'm not willing to let go of this. I'm not willing to let go of this idea yet. And then what this is going to look like is a lot of chaos. Because I'm not willing to surrender what I've been holding on to, but yet I still want the rest that I find in Jesus and being yoked to him. You have to be willing to surrender what you're holding on to, that perfect picture, that marriage one day, that thing that you're looking for, that perfect career, that perfect job, because probably what you'll find is when you get there, it's not perfect. Because as you walk with Jesus, you're yoked to perfection. Nothing gets better than that. Everything out, grass is greener on the other side. It may look perfect, it may look good. You got to, if you want to be in full rest, in full peace, be able to surrender what you're holding on to. Thank you. Everybody say surrender. Everybody say, let it go. Say, can't hold it back anymore. Yeah, I got you to sing Disney. Surrender. Still being tied to something I won't let go of. You listen, you might not be experiencing the full rest that God has for you because you might be yoked to him, you might be in relationship with him, but still not willing to get rid of some things. Surrender. And the last one is submission. So I've got to be humble. I need to have humility. I need to acknowledge that I can't do this alone. That I can't carry all this baggage alone. And a lot of us, our experience probably has been that you can carry it alone for a certain time. And then you get tired, and then you get mad at God. You get mad at God because you're tired. You're weary, and you're thinking, I've been serving. I've been doing all this for God. I've been tithing. I've been praying. I've been reading my Bible. And he's saying, come to me. Why are you carrying that? Humility, and surrender to say, I'm going to let go of the things I've been holding on to. I can't be yoked to Jesus and yoked to everything else at the same time. I can't be yoked to Jesus and then be yoked to this other thing that's trying to fulfill something inside of my heart. He says, come to me. It's an invitation. And then submission. Submission. Mahendra, last time, I promise, man. Submission. Who do you want to be today? Here, you come be Jesus. Yeah. Man, I've recognized that I need help, Jesus. I recognize that I need help. I recognize that I need to let go of some stuff. And we're walking, man. We're going through life. And Jesus says to me, he says, hey, Daniel, we're yoked together. You're in my rhythm. And he says, we're going to go this direction. And if I go, no, this is better, Jesus, I'm going to be working really hard. I don't know if you've ever tried to fight against God. It doesn't work. And you're like, Jesus is like, this is the way. And I'm like, yeah, but haven't you seen the stock market? Everyone on YouTube is saying this. Jesus, you should watch YouTube more. They have a lot of good advice. TikTok is there. It's good. Seriously. And Jesus is like, no, this is the way. It takes submission to say, I'm going with him. Because what I really like to do is I really like to find the rest in Jesus. And then when I see an opportunity, I forget who I'm yoked to and I go, whoa, ah! Well, why, God? That was a good opportunity. That was a really good idea. Because I have ideas all the time, and I'm like, let's do that thing. But Jesus is saying, no, come with me. Otherwise, you're going to be weary, and otherwise, you're going to be burdened. And sometimes he plants ideas in your heart. Sometimes he gives you vision. Sometimes he gives you revelation. And that's for a week from now. That's a month from now. That's a year from now. That's 5 years from now. And you're going like, whoa, you blew my mind. Thank you for that dream. And you're like, how come you planted a dream in my heart and it's not coming to fruition? And he's saying, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. I'll give you rest. Because I work out of rest. That's what he's saying. I work out of rest. If I'm striving, I'm going to be fighting against the will of God. Ooh, and you don't want to do that. If I'm like, you told me, God, you told me that was the vision, and I'm going over here, I'm going to be fighting all along. You have to have humility. You have to have surrender. And you have to be willing to submit to the will of God. When he says do this, It could be later. It could be a burning bush. It could be something. This is the problem that happened with Joseph. God gave him a dream, and then he ran with it. And then he ended up in a pit, sold into slavery. He told his brothers, he's like, I'm going to be king. I had a dream. And they're like, oh, no, you didn't. In the pit. And he didn't wait upon the Lord. Eventually, God brought him through that with some other hurdles, another imprisonment. Eventually, God brought him to where he needed to be, even despite his own mess, despite his own plans, which God will do. But I don't know about you. I'd rather take the easy way than the hard way. Submission. Thank you, Mahendra, for being yoked to a pool noodle with me for the entirety of the sermon. You might be a good indicator of when you're not in God's will. Potentially is when you're feeling all the weight and all the burden. When you're not experiencing that peace, you need to come to the Lord and say, Jesus, I need help. Practically do this. Jesus, I can't do this alone. I need you. I need you. Show me, God, what I need to let go of. And show me, God, which direction you're going. Because he says, he makes me lie down in green pastures, and he leads me beside quiet waters. Worship team, can you come, if you will? And I want to have a moment in worship where you maybe ask God this today, where you, in this space, you say, God, I need you. Can we almost act like today, like we're saying, here is my burdens. I can't do this alone. I can't carry this alone. I need you, Jesus. I can't just be a parent alone. I can't just be a coworker. I can't be an employee. I can't be a boss. I can't do relationships. I can't do this alone. This is a burden. This is stressful. I'm experiencing the chaos. Can we come today in prayer with a humility and say, I can't do this alone. I can't do this alone. Jesus, what is it that you want to take, that you want me to let go of? What is it that you want me to release? What is it that you want me to say, I'm not going to be yoked to this strategy anymore? Do you see this? This is a strategy to deal with your burdens. This is a strategy to deal with your stress. This is a strategy to deal with your pain. This is a strategy. And oftentimes what we do is, I don't want this strategy, I want this strategy. What strategies are you going to let go of to deal with stress, to deal with the chaos, to deal with the burdens? What strategies, Lord, have I employed? Have I yoked myself to? Have I attached myself to that are not of you? And Jesus, which way are you taking me? Help me by your grace to follow you. Help me by your grace to enter into your yoke. Help me by your grace to enter into your peace. Your word says you lead me beside quiet waters. Stand to your feet. We'll close in just a moment. What we're doing is we're saying, Jesus, be the center. Jesus, be the center. Jesus, I need you to be the center of my heart. I need you to be the center of my life. And before we sing this song, what I want you to do is I want you to posture yourself. And if you're in this room today, or if you're online and you've never made a decision, you've never come to him, you've never said, Jesus, I want you to be the Lord. I want you to be the Lord of my life. and you've never made that crucial decision to say, Jesus, I need you. I'm weary and I'm burdened. It was in a wearisome, burdenful moment that I came to Jesus, that I said, nothing else works. No one else is here. I'm alone. I need you, Jesus. And it was in that moment that there was humility. I need you. There was surrender. I got to let go of some stuff. There was some submission to say, Jesus, what do you want me to do? I've gotten it wrong a lot of times along the way. Please hear me. But there is one crucial decision in your life where you say, Jesus, be the center. Jesus, I want to follow you. And I want to give you that opportunity today. I'm extending that invitation today for you to make this decision, or maybe come back to him because maybe you've walked away. So with our eyes closed today, what I want to do is I'm going to pray a prayer similar to what I prayed when I surrendered, when I said, Jesus, you're the Lord of my life. And I'm going to lead us in that prayer today, but I want you to mark this moment today. God has been tugging on your heart maybe. God has been speaking to you. Maybe you've had so much upheaval and burdens and weariness, and you feel God drawing you in this moment. I'm encouraging you to make that decision today if you've never made it. And I'm going to lead us in a prayer. But with all eyes closed, can I just ask you, if you're praying that for the first time today, or maybe you're coming back to him, can you just lift a hand in the air so I know, simply I know who we're praying for today. Just lift a hand in the air and say, that's me. I'm praying that for the first time, or I'm coming back to him today. Maybe you're online today as well. I can't see your hand, but in faith, we're praying as well with you today. This prayer is just as powerful wherever you're at. This moment is just as powerful wherever you're at. Can we all pray together for those who are making this decision for the first time? Say, Jesus, thank you for your invitation. Today, I choose to come to you. I can't do it alone. I surrender my heart to you, my life, and all my situations. Thank you for you dying on the cross and carrying my burdens. Thank you for resurrecting from the dead and giving me new life. You are the Lord of my life, and I choose to follow you. In Jesus' name, amen. As we worship, can we just pray? I can't do it alone. I need help. I need you. I surrender. I surrender. Lead me, Jesus, to still waters by your grace and by your peace. Maybe you've never done it before as a physical expression of worship. Maybe you could just lift your hands almost as a sign of surrender today. To say, Jesus, I let go. Jesus, I let go of my strategies. I let go of my ways. And today I surrender afresh to you, Jesus. I surrender. You are the center. You are the center. We lift our hands to you, Jesus. We lift our hands. Come on, let's worship together as this just settles in our heart today.